Blinken said Hamas will decide the fate of the ceasefire plan, according to U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reaffirmed his commitment to a plan for a truce in Gaza, and Hamas will bear responsibility if it fails. Mr. Blinken restated his demand that Hamas embrace the proposal that President Biden presented a week and a half ago. One day after meeting with Mr. Netanyahu in Jerusalem, he was giving this speech. He alluded to Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar as one guy who was hidden 10 stories underground in Gaza, and claimed to be the one who had to deliver the deciding vote. Relating to the Israeli ceasefire proposal that served as the basis for Mr. Biden's statement, Mr. Netanyahu has not officially supported what Mr. Biden described or stated whether it aligns with it. Regarding Hamas's response to a resolution that the UN Security Council voted on Monday, endorsing what Mr. Biden had said, Mr. Blinken called it a hopeful sign. The resolution urged Hamas to follow Israel's lead and acknowledged that Israel had agreed with Mr. Biden's proposal. In a statement released on Tuesday, Hamas expressed gratitude for what was included in the resolution. However, Mr. Blinken stated that the response from Hamas was inconclusive, stating that what counts is what the Hamas leadership in Gaza says, and that's what we don't have. He declared that it was on them if the plan did not move forward. The Israeli roadmap to an enduring ceasefire and the release of all hostages was revealed by Mr. Biden in public last month, following months of halting ceasefire negotiations behind closed doors. He then went on to describe the plan. According to the plan, Israel would release an unspecified number of Palestinian inmates in exchange for Hamas freeing certain captives during the first 6 weeks of the ceasefire. In a second phase, Israel would completely withdraw its forces from Gaza as part of a permanent truce, albeit the release of the remaining hostages by Hamas would still need to be negotiated. The U.S. is making a strong diplomatic effort through Mr. Blinken's visit to encourage the parties to move forward with the idea, but there are significant challenges in reaching a consensus. Although Mr. Netanyahu has acknowledged that his military cabinet has approved the plan, he has not stated categorically that he supports it. His cabinet's far-right ultranationalists, who view the agreement as a capitulation to Hamas, have threatened to leave his coalition and bring it to an end if it moves forward. In the interim, Hamas is probably going to want for unambiguous assurances that the plan will result in the total evacuation of Israeli forces and the end of the conflict. It hasn't officially responded to the plan as of yet. The real Israeli plan, which is supposedly longer than the summary that Mr. Biden delivered, has not been made public. And it is not evident if it differs from the message that the president conveyed on May. It was given to Hamas a few days before Mr. Biden gave his speech. The 3-member Israeli military cabinet approved the idea, which has not been made public by the larger government. It's already evident that several far-right ministers are against it. As part of its drive to get the parties to move forward with the proposal, the Biden administration is attempting to take advantage of public pressure. Protesters holding American flags and demanding an accord were outside Mr. Blinken's hotel on Tuesday when he spoke with Israeli authorities in Tel Aviv. Many screamed, "SOS, USA," and "We trust you, Blinken, seal a deal," while brandishing images of hostages. The mother-of-year-old Israeli soldier Nimrod Cohen, who was abducted by Hamas on October, Vicky Cohen, waved a banner with his image on it. "We come here to ask Blinken and the USA government to help us, to save us from our government," she stated to the BBC. "We need their assistance to put pressure on our government since our Prime Minister does not want to bring back our loved ones." Later, during a brief encounter with the captive families outside the hotel, Mr. Blinken spoke with Ms. Cohen and other prisoner families, including American families. "You're going to be here every day. We're going to be here every day," he stated to them. Continuing the fast-paced diplomatic tour, the Secretary of State flew in a U.S. military aircraft to Amman, the capital of Jordan, and then took a helicopter to the Dead Sea to attend a gathering of Arab leaders demanding increased access for humanitarian supplies into the war-torn Gaza. 5 helicopters from the Jordanian Air Force transported Mr. Blinken, his aides, and the BBC among the traveling press corps. Flying low, the Armada made its way westward to the town of Swem, which is situated on the Dead Sea's shoreline right across from the occupied West Bank. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres told the meeting, "The horror must end. The speed and scale of the carnage and killing in Gaza is beyond anything in my years as Secretary-General," he stated. Head of UN Humanitarian Coordination Martin Griffiths called the Gaza conflict a stain on our humanity and demanded $2.5 billion to cover Gaza's Palestinian population's humanitarian needs from April to December. After Hamas struck Israel on October 7, murdering over 1,200 people and capturing 251 more as captives and sending them back to Gaza, the conflict broke out. Since then, the Israeli offensive has claimed the lives of over 37,000 people, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, which is managed by Hamas.